Hello, you lovely listeners, and welcome to Marketing in the Madness. If you've not been here before, welcome. You're going to have a fantastic listen or watch today because you are coming with me to our International Women's Day event. Now, if you've not listened before, this is a great episode because it's actually doing something that is going to evoke real change. Honestly, guys, our International Women's Day event felt so bloody powerful. I cannot tell you. So if you've not been here before, my name's Katie Street. Of course, I am your host for this podcast, which usually focus on the technological innovations that are powering marketing. But actually today, we're going to be focusing on something a little bit different. So as a female founder, I've always been pretty outspoken, but the stats are pretty crazy when it comes to men taking more jobs than women, getting pay rises quicker than us women, and having more decisions on advertising and marketing boards. So the whole premise of this event was to get women's voices heard because we don't speak up enough. I definitely do, which is why I host a podcast. But as a founder of a marketing agency, what I wanted to do is bring together some amazing women who I have the privilege of working with and knowing as friends, from CEOs of businesses who have scaled and sold to C-suite marketing and tech leaders at some of the biggest brands in the world, including one of my favourite, Deckers, who own UGG. I'm a big UGG boots fan. People that are changing the world, and also people that are coming up through their career. So the whole premise of this was to enable us to have the confidence to raise our voices. And instead of having a panelist and a standard fireside chat or panel discussion, as I will often do with these live podcasts, actually what we did this time is made every single guest in the room my podcast guest. We challenged them to come up on stage, to step out of their comfort zone, and to give everyone who attended the event some tips and ideas to help them speak up more and enable them to get further in their career. Honestly, it felt amazing. I came away with so many tips. So on the podcast now, you're going to hear from some of these amazing women. Not all of them introduce themselves, actually, but we will make sure that every single person is listed out in the show notes with their job title so you know who said what. And there's also going to be lots of clips going out on socials to support this. So if you want to catch up with that, please do also make sure that you follow me, Katie Street, on LinkedIn. That is where I share the majority of my content. And of course, follow this podcast on there as well, Marketing in the Madness. We had some fantastic gifts from amazing female-founded but female empowering businesses, which totally fitted in with everything we were speaking about at this event. So I want to share a little bit of insight into these fantastic partners that we got involved. So first up, the Better Menopause. I've actually had two of the founders from the Better Menopause on my podcast, the amazing Debbie Wasco. If you don't know her, go and check her out. She is a multi-exit entrepreneur. She's one of the founders of Albright. She's also working with the government to create the largest female fund of investment. So that is women investing in women. And also the lovely Joanna Lyle, who actually made this all possible today. She is the managing director and has very recently been on the podcast. If you've been a recent listener, you'll know, talking about the Better Menopause, how they've gone to market and exactly what the product does. But if you didn't listen to that, I've actually just started. So as part of us getting these gifts, I obviously got a gift myself. And I've been taking one of these, and I just want to dial in on one of the products and why I think it's been amazing for me. Better Night is the ultimate multi-nutrient to support sleep. It addresses anxiety, supports immunity, and relaxes the body into a more refreshing sleep. And I can promise you that is true because it's happened to me the past couple of nights. It was formulated by the Better Menopause to support women over 40, many who have had disrupted sleep and experienced anxiety. However, this particular product is actually also suitable for men and anyone struggling to sleep due to stress, anxiety, low mood, and or ADHD, which I'm pretty sure I have. So this is perfect for me. The formulation also contains saffron, which has been shown to be as effective as antidepressants, but without the side effects. So I'll let you guys go and check out the Better Menopause and read about some of the other products that we were gifted, but that's my favourite, so I really wanted to dial into that one. I also want to do a shout out for our other sponsor, Day, also recently on the podcast. They are game changers when it comes to women's health. They gifted everyone their vaginal microbiome screening kit. And trust me, this is more than just a nice to have, because preventing infections like BV can actually help prevent cervical cancer. And it's not just for women. Men can get tested too. And men should and can actually have the HPV jab, which would really, really help cut the fourth biggest cancer killer for women in the UK, which is cervical cancer. A huge thanks to Valentina Milanova and the team at Day for making intimate health a priority. Honestly, the innovations that these guys have brought to market have been incredible, and to have them partner with us at the event just felt so special, so relevant, and so empowering for every single woman in the room. So for now, I'm going to stop speaking to you here, and you're going to come and join me live at our event at Soho House and meet some of these amazing women with me.
Morning, ladies. Thank you so much for being here today. We're really excited to celebrate International Women's Day with you all. I'm Georgia. I'm new at Street Agency, and I've just come from Google, so I've met a few of you already. And with that, I'm going to hand over to Katie.
And Georgia is fucking fantastic at speaking up, by the way, as you've just... She put herself forward for doing that, and she's in her second week at Street, so double. And also, just in case you're wondering why there is no noise coming from the mics, we're doing it to capture from here, not to emit noise. So they are working. It's just they're not here to make me louder, because I don't actually need to be made any louder, apparently. Now, I hate when people read from a sheet, but I've got so much that I need to share with you guys. Guys, you ladies, I am going to use my sheet because it's important. So first up, welcome. I keep saying that, and now I'm going to put it down. Hang on, get it in the other hand. That's better. I feel a bit more evened out now. So first up, this is my kind of whole premise for this, and it actually isn't from me. It's from someone that I was hoping was going to be able to join us, but she couldn't. It's Stephanie F. Being Humble. Does anyone follow her? Yeah, love her content. So good. And this is really true. Maybe I haven't phrased it exactly like this before, but it's something that I've thought a lot in my career. And that's why I'm so bloody outspoken, is someone louder than you is getting paid more than you, that's shitter than you, because they fucking spoke louder than you did. And that is what this morning is all about. It's about giving us all a voice, because in my research for this morning, I have found some fucking horrible stats that I'm going to share with you. So, I mean, I don't want this to be man bashing, because Baz, Dom, I do love you guys. But, you know, I have to be... Yeah, I'll bash you. Yeah, I'll bash you. Sorry. So... Men, I mean, not in our meetings. This doesn't happen, does it, Dom? But it does actually, but Dom does speak up a lot. But men speak up in meetings 75% more than women do. Like, what the hell? That is insane. 75% more. We've got 25% of the voice in meeting rooms. That's crazy. So I really want us all, and I'm sure a lot of you powerful, amazing women are already doing this, but I really want us all to walk away making sure that we're never sat there in a meeting room going, I'm too scared to speak up. I don't want to say what, because I feel like I'm going to sound stupid. I absolutely want everyone to walk away from today feeling confident to speak their truth and share their ideas in meetings. Women are interrupted by men 33%. Yeah, look at that nodding over there. Jennifer, sure, sweet. Yeah, 33% more often. I mean, actually, I think it's fucking higher than that. But the stats say 33% more often where women are interrupted by men than the other way around. Like, that's crazy. Men get promoted 30% faster than women because they ask and we don't. Why are we not asking to get promoted, guys? We need to ask for those promotions. Men apply for jobs that they're only 60% qualified for. So again, I've heard higher, more impressive stats than this. But men apply for jobs that they're only 60% qualified for, whilst women wait till they're 90 or 100%. Now, this is something that we can all do, especially founders in the room or people that are responsible for recruiting. If you change how you write your job ads and you put in, you don't need to be fully qualified. These are, desirable skills, not essential skills. You will get more women applying for jobs. That is such a tiny change that probably all of us in the room can influence. So changing how job ads are written can attract more female talent. I think that's a huge one. men are 2.5 times more likely to self-promote than women. We were laughing about that earlier. That's definitely a lot higher than that. And women, and this is what I really want to change today, women are penalised for being outspoken while men are rewarded. And I'm sure we've all been sat there in meetings feeling that. Also, men stealing women's ideas. I didn't actually write that one down, but that also happens a lot. You know, we say something and then they say it and then it's heard and it happens. You're like, what the fuck? I just said that. Like, anyway. So these are the things that this International Women's Day, want to accelerate action. That's the whole theme of this year's International Women's Day. And that is my one big thing. I mean, probably the thing that I've done the most is just be really outspoken. So, as well as me speaking and giving you loads of random stats that hopefully have inspired you to speak up and be louder, I'm trying to remember all the things I need to say, which I'm probably going to forget. I'm looking at the team like, what have I forgotten so far? So first up, you can find the street team by, we have done little red things for us. So if you've got any questions, you need anything, they're mainly over here. We also have come extra because it's actually really important, especially in meetings and at events, to show up looking bold and beautiful as all of you have so that you're noticed. In fact, Nishma, who's not quite here yet, did a post about that the other day. And it's, sometimes we don't remember that, but it's really, really important what you wear, which is why, I'm sparkling all over today. It's really important because people remember you, like, especially in a pitch or a big meeting or at an event, really, really important what you wear. So so the girls are all extra today and we're nice and sparkly. And well, Dom, we were going to get Dom like a cape or something, but we've gone with stripes instead. First up that. Then in terms of running of the morning, there's a lot happening today. So in a minute, I did say that we've got extra special guest, which I'm going to tell you who that is in a moment. So hold on for 2 seconds. Housekeeping stuff. So there are some lovely gifts, which I want you all to grab at the end of today. I'm going to give you some insights into what the gifts are. So female focused gifts. They're both people that have been on the podcast in and around International Women's Day. One came out on Tuesday, the next coming out next Tuesday. One is, does anyone know Debbie Wasco, multi-exit entrepreneur? So she's got her better menopause vitamins have been gifted to us. So every single guest you can choose. There's 2 different types. One is better health. Better gut, and one is better night. One helps, and you can read up about them. They do some fantastic things, including, I love this. Hang on, balancing your hormones, keeping your gut happy, making sure you catch sleep to feel energized and ready to take the day. There is some really interesting thing. We can read about it later, but if you read the packaging, there's it just tells you some quite clever stuff about how they're designed, and I've forgotten it all, and it isn't written down here, so I can't tell you now. Please do grab one of those vitamins, better night or better gut, depending on your preference or what's left. The other thing that we have, which is very clever and incredibly, these gifts are worth a fair bit of money. I think the better guts retail at about £50. And then the other gift that we have, which sadly we don't have for everyone, is a vaginal health test. Does anyone know Day? Yeah, love. So Valentina, the founder, is coming out on the podcast next week. I think they invented the first CBD tampons. So I found them for my daughter because she was really, really struggling with period pains. Anyway, this woman is such a female force. She's actually talked on the podcast about the challenges she's had getting funding as a woman from men launching her business because they don't understand female health and there aren't enough female investors. And actually that's what Debbie Wasco is changing. So together it was quite a good little thing around International Women's Day, and they've both very kindly gifted us these. So these vaginal health testing kits don't just test for STIs, they test for UTIs, vaginal microbiome imbalances, so you know whether you need to take maybe better guts to help. They kind of work quite well together. So we've got some fantastic gifts. Please do make sure, ladies, that you grab one on your way out because there is enough to have at least one thing each. Some of you may even get 2. Now, I'm not going to be quiet because I'm never fucking quiet. But what I'm going to do now is give the opportunity for my special guest to come on. Now, I said someone really special, and that really special guest is all of you. So there isn't, because this is all about everyone having their own voice, there isn't some kind of magical celebrity coming in. I'm going to pick on you guys, and I'm going to pick Nishma first. Sorry, Nishma. I'm going to pick on you guys to come up. So what we're going to do, obviously this whole morning is going to be made into a podcast. Don't know how yet. Dom's going to manage that afterwards. We're going to make it good somehow. So what we're going to do is we're going to invite each of you to come up for 2 minutes. Well, not each of you, any of you that we can get through in the next 15 minutes, to come up and do a 2-minute. I want you to talk about something that you think is important for getting heard, or something that you've done in your career that has helped you get ahead. So, but we're going to keep it really short to 2 minutes. Sunny is going to come over this way with a timer to make sure, like, it's not quite Petra Kutcher style, but I want to get as many of you up as I can. So I'm going to pick on you until people start to put their hands up.
So, 2 minutes. I'm passionate about people standing out, women standing out particularly. So I'm going to try and squeeze 2 bits of advice in. One is sequins are my thing. Not necessarily everyone's thing, but actually having a distinguishable character, a feature about you really helps. Because I've been in many rooms, as you can imagine, we all have, where they won't remember your name, which is shocking, because there haven't been that many Nishmas that I've come across, but they might not remember your name. And they may not remember exactly your job title, whatever you did. But I can guarantee you, I've been in many rooms where they've gone, that lady that had the sequins on, or that lady who was in the orange shirt, or that lady who was wearing the pink dress, whatever it might be. It helps sometimes to stand out in a sea of grey. And it becomes very much identifiable about your character. And actually now it's lovely when people say they walk past a shop and they see sequins and they think of me. So it's like any bit of brand marketing, whatever it is. It might be the way you wear hair. It might be because you always wear red. It might be because you've got lovely red hair, whatever it might be. There's something about that to help you stand out. And my other slightly more practical one, for anyone who doesn't want to change what they're wearing, is ask a question. People really underestimate the power of asking a question. And not any question, not like, what's your favourite colour kind of thing. But actually thinking about that, your natural curiosity. We've all done it. I've sat in so many rooms where I've gone, I want to ask a question. And I sit on my hands and I don't do it and the moment's passed. If you want to get noticed and you want to put across a little bit of your character, a little bit of what you care about and your opinion, put your hand up first as well. There is so much power to be asking that question because people will remember you always. So use your voice, always stand out. We have to do more to get women out of the shadows and into the spotlight. And it feels uncomfortable at first, but as soon as you do it, my God, it feels amazing. 2 minutes?
Okay, so I'm Lynn Parker. I run something called Funny Women. I'm not going to talk about that too much because I've got 2 minutes and what I want to do is issue a challenge. And appropriately, even though this is my signature. I'm not glittery. I am the mistress of the crazy shirt. And that's how people always say, oh, I like your shirt. So I always go around the shops looking for the maddest, most colourful shirt. So that's my fashion tip. So I'm launching the Glitter Challenge. I haven't coordinated with Nishma entirely, but I've been talking to Katie as well for about 2 years now that something in keeping with today and standing out. I've run Funny Women for 23 years and brought some of the most famous women in comedy through with our awards, and I've trained lots of people. I've seen them literally start from nothing to becoming huge stars. And I think my special power is getting you to stand up. I'm not actually weirdly that brilliant at it myself because like everyone, I'm an anxious, underconfident person, believe it or not. But I am very good at getting people to do stuff. So my challenge is, if you fancy standing up and doing 5 minutes of comedy at this year's Edinburgh Fringe, I've put together a wonderful programme. It's on the website. I'm happy to share it with everyone. It's called the Glitter Challenge. The reason we're doing it is we launched something called the Glitter Project last year, which is an outreach campaign for women who are not as fortunate as us, so that we could go around the country and put comedy events, comedy mentoring sessions and open mics on. And we've got 6 locations active, funded by the Arts Council. So following on from that, I thought we now need funding to carry it on. The Arts Council money is running out. So the Glitter Challenge is, I'm throwing down to you to say, take part. You will be completely 100% supported. I'm going to bring in some amazing comedy mentors to work with you. I only want 10 women. And if you're interested, talk to me and I'll explain how it works. I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. I actually did one of, that's how I met Katie. So comedy brings us together. So one thing I wanted to share is I wrote about this on LinkedIn this week, actually, on how as women in leadership roles, people tend to see us as either the mother, the sister, the wife or girlfriend. And it's not just with men. And this happens kind of subconsciously. It's not necessarily a thing that they think about. But when this happens, it is really important to know that you do not need to be responsible for people's emotions. And I think that is a really important thing. I was a CEO for 12 years and I saw my company and I saw this happen over and over again, where people were upset with feedback because it felt like I was attacking them. So for female leaders, I think it's more important than for men to have boundaries, which shouldn't be necessary. You shouldn't have to say it. But for me, I realized that there was a big difference once I set some boundaries. And you can still say that lovingly and maybe also make them aware of that this is a professional situation, but it happens all the time, and it's a real shame. Also, I would say one of my challenges, kind of growing in my career, has always been that I always felt different, and I always felt like, oh, I'm a bit too loud. I say things at the weird times, and I say the wrong things all the time. And not to worry so much about it. I now realize that I ran out of fucks to give. And it's much easier this way. And also, the people will find you anyway. So let's try not to worry so much. Set some boundaries and have some fun. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so just like thinking about like speaking to a room of like, wonderful women. Oh, Natasha. Hi, sorry, I'm Natasha. Nice to meet everyone. So I'm absolutely terrified of public speaking. So that's why I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna go for it. Thank you. So I would say the thing that came up for me in my mind was something that I've heard once from my finance director like a million years ago, and she was a woman. And it really got stuck with me. She told me, don't say no for them. And I feel like, as women, a lot of the times we put barriers to ourselves and we say no to ourselves before the people will say no for us. And I am mentoring someone right now, for example, that like she's looking for jobs and because she isn't happy where she is right now. And a lot of the times she overthinks and she won't apply to jobs because she's like, oh, but I don't know if I'm right. And I keep telling her, like, don't say no for them. Just go for it and try. And I think this is something that can be applied to so many other things in our lives. And as women, as leaders, we might not necessarily go for an opportunity, or we might feel like, something isn't necessarily appropriate for us. And we put barriers to ourselves before other people will. So, yes, thank you.
God, you did great. Well done.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Julia. I'm definitely not shy about using my voice. I run a PR agency that's my own called The Digital Voice. And it's partly because about 15 years ago, somebody gave me the job title of The Voice. And all of it is just about amplification. Your voice, what you've got to say is important. Now, these are 5 words that's going to help you with that. And I want you to say to yourself at any point, and I think you gave a stat there, which was the one? Men are more likely to speak up, 75% more likely to speak up. If it's holding you back in case thinking, well, it may not be right what I'm about to say, use these 5 words. But what if it works? And Mel Robbins gave me those, so I'm not taking them as my own. But on anything, whether you're thinking about posting on LinkedIn and going, oh, will it get engagement? Don't think that. Just think, but what if it works? It changes everything. And the only other rule, and actually it's by Mel Robbins as well, and Nisha, you were saying about putting your hand up and being first to do that. She melded the 5-second rule, and in your brain, I know you can sometimes back down. I can see you, Miranda, you're nodding. And it is that kind of, oh, no, maybe I won't say it. In your brain, just say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, move, or 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, say it. It will make all the difference. And my parting shot is this: be bold, be brave, be you. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Christina Minchell. And for those that I haven't met, I'm the CEO of The Brand Audit. And I run a social media consultancy firm, helping both with personal brand as well as social strategy. And as you can tell by the accent, I am actually new to London, just moved this year. So I've been enjoying going to events like this to meet new people and build connections. And that's what it's all about. Community makes or breaks your experience in a city. So very grateful to be invited here today and enjoying meeting you all. My biggest tip for personal branding is to give more than you take, right? I think there's a lot of myths around what personal branding is. I think people think it's about themselves. They think it's about amplifying their own voice, amplifying their own initiatives. But it's really around starting a dialogue, right? It's really around thinking about your audience. What do they want to talk about? How do you want to connect with them? So I think when you're networking, when you're building your personal brand, when you're finding your voice, think about your audience first before you think about yourself, and give more than you take.
Hi, everyone. I'm Maysa Lansari, and I literally just used the 5-second rule to do this. But I wanted to say, A, thank you for giving us the opportunity in the platform. I think it's really important that we are supporting each other. I think that my biggest tip that I used for myself was I just had a strategy to say yes to everything, because I had said no for so long that when I found myself last year at a big restructure on a corporate level, I'd looked around and realized that I hadn't really filled up my own cup. I hadn't spent time networking, building, learning, listening, connecting. And I was so frustrated with myself because I had done that for everybody else except for myself. And so now I am trying to encourage myself and everyone else that I know or who will listen or who will hear, to your point about that personal branding, is trying to give back, to say, don't do the same mistakes that we tend to do because we're always giving everybody else. And so my encouragement was just say yes to everything. You never know where it will take you or how positive it will have and where things will lead to. So thank you.
Amazing. Okay. Hi, I'm Nimi. I'm a fractional finance CFO person. Terrified of doing this, also neurodiverse, so think very, very differently. I think the one thing, over the last few years, I've tried to be not the finance person and say yes to stuff, like going to events, which absolutely petrifies me. But as a fractional person, I think we know female founders get very little money. I mean, I've been fortunate where I've worked with a couple of people in the last 6 months who've actually kind of done their budgets. They've had to do a different source of funding, but they've actually both got 7-figure funding, which in this climate is absolutely amazing. So I'm just like, if you want funding, it is out there. You've just got to do it differently. Think about how you're doing it. Prepare your budgets well. Because I've worked with private equity, they have a different source of funding. And the other thing Jennifer and I were going to do is, we're still going to do, is there's a whole bunch of female CFOs who also want to be CEOs. They're also passionate about the female funding. Target these guys, work with them with the budgets. They're also passionate about branding, which we know we talk about in marketing. My biggest frustration, I've got to say from marketing's perspective, is they're not talking to these people. I want marketing to talk to these female CFOs who will actually, I think that's how we're going to get growth in the UK in the next few years.
And Nimi's a terrible self-publicist, and I want to remind all of you that she is available for hire because she's one of the best finance people I've ever worked with as far as sorting out your accounts. She's absolutely business. As far as a CFO comes, she's absolutely supremo. And I worked with her in an agency at Abbott Mead Vickers BBDO, which obviously was very successful during the time that she was there. So I'm going to put some of that down to the fact that we didn't fuck up the accounts, guys. So Hi, I'm Jenny Shaw-Sweet. I work at the B2B Institute at LinkedIn. It means that I tend to only post stuff about B2B. I'm fairly passionate about it, but honestly, I'm not also that boring. I want to talk about resilience. Like, as women, we have to be resilient. I think the fact that we menstruate, thank you today for the CBD tampon. It is life-changing. If you have painful periods, they're amazing. But the fact that we are constantly experiencing pain, actually, I think makes women extraordinary, resilient sort of beings. But I also think that we can lean too much on the sort of burden of our resilience and not see it as like the superpower that we have. When we have really, really tough times, I see women digging deep in ways that sort of sometimes men are never asked to do. They have sort of their lives. I've worked with a lot of very fortunate men, and their lives were kind of laid out in front of them all the way through, private school, boarding school. Oh, it was all so tough. Wasn't it so terrible having, your own theatre in your school where there was a lighting designer and someone to mop your fevered brow as you rehearsed your lines, versus those kind of jobbing comedians, for example, who have worked their way up from absolute grit, spit and sawdust. So I think that we as women do have resilience within us, but sometimes we have to go and hunt it when we're facing other fears. And so my advice in getting ahead is do something you're frightened of as often as possible. Possibly not too physically dangerous, although I love mountaineering, which is really fucking dangerous. Alpine climbing in particular, which is another level of like clinging onto ice using using an ice pick. But it's really, really fun. And I think that's the thing, is dangerous things are really fun because in that moment you totally lose everything else and experience what it is to just live, to thrive and to survive. And so this doing things that we're frightened of, really, really steep learning curves. You've got a little bit of cortisol recovery afterwards is important, but a really steep learning curve is a really, really good thing. And embrace the fear, embrace the opportunity, go and do it. It's not just about posting online. Head up a mountain, get some fresh air, because you can overcome really, really the real stuff. Katie and I have talked about some of the real stuff that happens, but like the real stuff happens layer upon layer upon layer. The chaos of life doesn't stop for any of us, but your ability to cope with that is really helped by the fact that you know what you are in the soul of you. You know how deep you can dig within yourself. So I think enjoy those capabilities. Don't see them as a burden.
That was so inspiring. I'm going to want to cry now.
So 2 minutes of this doesn't seem anything compared to 5 minutes of comedy. So I thought I'd take the 2 minutes of this. Okay, maybe. So I got given some really good advice this week, actually, which I wanted to share, which is around the fact that it's not about what's in our head. And sometimes, if you're looking for a job or you're trying to reach someone or you're trying to contact someone, it's about them, not about you. And I think that was really interesting because I think there's a lot of people out there that overthink a lot of things and they're like, oh, they haven't responded, someone hasn't done this, and they're in their own head about it. And actually, it isn't about you, it's about them being busy and that kind of thing. And the other thing I wanted to talk about, I guess, was just like our responsibility as leaders. I worked for a company for 8 years where I was the one that took notes, I was the one that made coffee, I was the one that always stepped up, and I felt that should be my role. And now when I am in meetings with the younger generation, I always make sure that the note taking gets shared, the coffee making gets shared, and giving people the opportunity to have a voice in those meetings. And I've had some really strong female leaders in my career that have supported me and helped me have a voice, and I think we have a responsibility to do the same as well. So do not let women take notes, do not let women make coffee in meetings. So that's the other things.
I'm going to be less than 2 minutes. I'm Katie. I'm a content specialist. I do a lot of digital media ghostwriting for senior executives. A lot of the stuff you read on LinkedIn, I probably wrote it. But I just want to talk about something slightly different, which is to say, it's scary trying to go viral. You're always trying to, get the most number of eyeballs, and I want to talk about thinking a bit smaller and actually saying, I'm a big proponent that you should all have websites. We should all have our own media. together, and we should all be doing newsletters and sending things out to people regularly. And one of the things you can do is just start really small and just write something for one person and send it to them and say, I've written this, I thought you'd enjoy it, here you go. And just try and just do things a bit smaller again and not try and go viral. Try and really find the right people, and then find your people and build from there. And yeah, don't let trying to go viral intimidate you into not doing anything at all and not saying anything at all. So that's my message.
Hi. Hi, girls. I'm Rachel. I'm wearing grey. 50 Shades of Rachel for the last time, because I'm going to take on the advice next time and wear something a bit more memorable. I work at Eon Next in energy usage and innovation on the digital team, working with some quite disruptive technology right now to help us all hopefully better manage our energy consumption. So exciting stuff. I'm really at the beginning of this journey, I think. I've been kind of slowly climbing the ladder and doing what I'm told for a few years, I reckon, my first kind of decade of my career. And now I'm trying to practice a bit of kind of the sort of learnings that I'm hearing in this room. And I think for me, being authentic has been like the most change. The biggest thing that I've found the best help for me over the last couple of years. I have some struggles with mental health. I'm quite childlike. That's not related. Maybe it is. I don't know. But I try and bring that with me now, rather than trying to hide who I am. I talk about it openly, and I find I'm quite drawn to relatable content, relatable people. It makes them likable. And now I just wear it on my sleeve with my co-workers, as well as, friends, or, probably even just someone in a queue at a coffee shop. And I think that's quite powerful, actually. And it's also making me feel more confident to speak up. The other couple of things I would say, one is really obvious, but just saying yes to more things. Katie's been amazing. She's invited me to speaking opportunities, and I've had another couple come from that, which has been fantastic. And yeah, really brilliant. Helped to sort of meet people and practice kind of talking a bit. So just saying yes to more. And what was my other one? Oh, I think I've forgotten it. Brilliant. Hopefully it will come back. Hopefully it will come back later. But it's a pleasure to be here and meet you all. So thank you.
Hi, I'm Aninda. I know a lot of familiar faces. Of course, Katie, thank you so much for organizing this. And I think we always say that there aren't many spaces where women are there, but there are. And then it's about just showing up, making sure that we show up. And I'm going to channelize on Mel Robbins. I follow her. There's this thing about let them. I've always had people saying, your accent, I'm not really sure where you're from, your colors. I would walk into a room where people are wearing lots of black and grey. No offense here, but I would always be in color. Like Nishma said, just have something distinctive. And I used to feel very apologetic about it. Like, sorry, I think I didn't get the memo. But now I'm just going to own it. And I feel like the colors really lift my mood up. And then there are people who come up to me and they're like, you're wearing lovely clothes. We love it. We wish we could wear some more colors. So I've become very, I've silenced that thing, voices coming from different corners saying your accent, your color, the way you speak, or, the way you wear things. So I've just become very much like, let them. I'm going to go and just own it. And the other thing I think with female founders I've found is that they feel very they have so many things to say, but they're very scared. So I follow certain people who are also in this room and just watch them flourish. And I just think, what would Nishma say or what would Katie say? And just follow them. And that's how I get my energy.
Don't be shit. Hi everyone, I'm Victoria. I've chosen to stand out today by also blending in with the sofa. I am a founder of two agencies. One's called We Are All Marketing, the other's called We Are All Creative. They are both powered entirely by freelancers. And in doing what I do, I get to talk to loads and loads of people who are fractional freelancers and going to work for themselves, which is fascinating because that feels like a big surge over the last couple of years. The thing that's really interesting about that is talking to loads and loads of people who are really scared of going out by themselves. I think the main thing I would encourage, particularly women who are doing this, is find your people who are going to champion you. And also it's really scary, I think, sometimes to this feeling of I've got to build my own brand, I've got to go and be really noisy. For some people, it doesn't come naturally at all. So find the people who are willing to be a bit of a pain in the arse for you on your behalf. mention your name in the rooms that you're not in to open those opportunities. So find those people, and really my background is coming from a challenge brand. So take a bit of challenger mentality and ask why a lot, because a lot of people don't.
And you have found your people to go and shout for you in the rooms that you're not in, because we're all here together this morning. So a big thank you. Every single one of you is here because I think you're fucking awesome. I also realised I didn't actually introduce myself, but I think most of you know who I am. So sorry about that. One thing I just wanted to say, which is why today, like, I don't know, I feel like the world like sends you places where you're supposed to be sometimes. Last night I had my daughter's parents' evening at school. First one doing her A-levels. So now she's like studying things that she cares about, that she wants to do. And she was fucking amazing. Like she's like predicted A star, AA. By the way, I was fucking shit at school. I have actually brought her up and not helped her do any of her homework. She's done this all herself. And that's probably why she's so fucking awesome, because I literally was too busy to help her. But the one thing that stood out that two of her teachers said to her is like, you're really quietly confident, but we want you to speak up more in class. And she was like, but Mum, there's other people that always like say more, that and she knows I'm really outspoken, and maybe that's why she's not so much, because I fucking talk for her all the time probably. But it just really resonated with me about today. I was like, this is why, like, she's so fucking brilliant. The only thing that might hold her back and that her teachers are noticing is that she's not speaking up enough. So I really wanted to leave with that kind of like, we're all here, we're going to speak up for each other, but we're going to speak up for ourselves. International Women's Day is one of my favourite days of the year, and this event has been incredible. Now you're going to hear from some of the amazing women that have joined us today and been brave enough to stand up so that they stand out.
The founder and chief sparkle officer of the Glitter Sphere. And I'm on a mission to help as many women as I can to find financial freedom by going from invisible to unmissable. I want them to own their sparkle and shine brightly. And do you know what? Just be total badasses.
Hi, I'm Sarah Forbes. And if I was going to give some advice to my younger self and younger people out there, it would be to stop being afraid, say yes to everything. Just put yourself out there. It's okay. Be vulnerable, be authentic to yourself, and just stay true to your intentions, and just don't be afraid, and be kind as well. Just be nice to everyone. As karma is out there. Karma is a bitch. So yeah, it does just pays to be nice to people. So just remember to be nice to people, and just put yourself out there.
Hi, I'm Nikki Wilshire. I am here at an International Women's Day event surrounded by fantastic women in leadership, digital marketing and technology. Just wanted to do a shout out to all the amazing women out there in my network, in my life. And for the next generation of women, be loud, be brave, be bold, but be you.
If you're a woman in business, you need to listen to this. Your network is your net worth. Make sure that you say yes to everything. Don't let an opportunity go. The most important thing is, today is International Women's Day, which is incredible, celebrating the amazing women in the industry. Importantly, the first International Women's Day was in 1911, and we have come a really long way, but we're still not there yet. And it's one thing talking about it, but it's another thing actioning the things that we really need to change. And that comes from the top. That comes from the leadership team, making sure that filters down into your workforce, ensuring that you have that diversity, you have the equity. Yes, ticking that box, but then ensuring that filters through into the company. How are you fostering that inclusive environment and ensuring that people feel that they can raise an issue, they can be a leader, they can raise their hand in a meeting, and they can say yes.
I have 5 words that's going to change the way you think about promoting yourself and having a voice. Are you ready for it? Here you go. Well, what if it works? Just think about that. Every time you're thinking, do I put my hand up at an event? Do I post on social media? Do I promote myself? Do I put myself forward? Instead of saying, oh, it might not work, think about it this way. But what if it works? The most important thing to remember is your voice is important. What you say is important. Be bold, be brave, and above all, be you.
Did you know that less than 1% of thought leaders on LinkedIn are actively creating content? That is a mind-blowing stat, especially considering there's 1 billion people on LinkedIn, ready to hear your perspectives, ready to hear your voice, ready to hear your thoughts. I'm Christina. I am the founder and CEO of The Brand Audit, and I help CEOs, founders, and executives build their personal brands. For me, I always encourage my clients to take a headphones over megaphone approach to their personal brand. I believe that personal branding is a very human-centric way to build connections, to create dialogue, and to make your potential reality turn into your reality. I always tell my clients, visibility turns potential into reality. And I'd love to have a conversation on how I can do that for you.
Whoever you are, if you are striving to grow in your career, if you're striving to have an impact and contribute, I want you to take a moment and recognize that you have something to offer. And don't underestimate your competence. Confidence comes from competence. Whatever room that you're in, whatever space you find yourself in, you know something that those around you probably don't know. So be bold and contribute that, right? That is where confidence will develop. So again, if you are trying to achieve anything, it starts with believing in your competence, believing you have something to contribute, and boldly offering that up.
Negative thought patterns are stopping you from getting what you want. We all have it. We all have those negative thoughts that enter our heads when we're about to speak up in a meeting, when we're about to do something, when we're about to give a talk. I had them just before I grabbed this mic. And basically, the way to manage those and be more in control in them is to challenge yourself to think of some positives. So I challenge you that next time you have a negative thought pop into your head, acknowledge it, be like, thanks for reminding me, bringing my attention to that, but I've got stuff to do, and challenge yourself to think of 2 positive alternatives. So if you're about to talk in a meeting and you think, what if I say something wrong? What if I say something ridiculous? You can challenge yourself to think, what if I say something that really resonates with someone? Or what if I give someone who is too nervous to speak up a voice and say what they were wanting to say? So I just really invite yourself to challenge yourself. If you have a negative thought, challenge yourself to think of at least 2 positive alternatives.
There are people worse than you taking your job because they spoke up and you didn't. That is what today's event has been all about. In order to get ahead in life, my biggest belief is that you have to stand up, you have to stand out, and you have to speak up. So today's International Women's Day event has been all about that. So guys, if you've listened in, but you weren't able to join us, we are going to make these events regular. So there will be a link in the show notes where you can go and register to be one of the first people to hear about our upcoming events. I would love for you to join us next time. We are going to be doing these quarterly. Reason I'm telling you this on this podcast is it's going to keep me accountable and make sure that I show up. So if you've loved it, please do obviously do the standard stuff, but go and register to get news about our live events, because these live and loud, power to the people, I think we're going to call them, events are going to be happening quarterly, and I want you with us.